Hey guys, in this video we're going over being a new dad and 10 things I wish I knew before I started. And the list is constantly growing. We got a bonus at the end, so hopefully this kind of helps you guys. And if you learned any other things, you could certainly leave them in the comments. So, new setup, we'll see how it goes. I'll try not to edit and we'll just go straight for it. So number one, you need to be the backbone to your family. What I learned, you need that foundation. In a lot of circumstances, not all, but in a lot, it's like the child relies on the mother relies on the husband, and then who does the husband rely on? Not many people, if not no one. So it really boils down to you. Again, not always, but it's certainly common. And if you don't have that good foundation, then kind of the whole family just collapses. So it's important to be that backbone for everyone. You also have to stand up for what you believe in. A lot of people might be throwing how you should parent, and it's already a stressful situation. When they're starting to add more stress to that, not a good situation. That's always difficult. So that could certainly help. Moving on to even number two is have your money in order. So we're talking about your budget in order, your investments in order, your debts in order, at least being aware of them. Because again, you need that financial foundation. If that's wobbly, the whole thing just could collapse. So you need to set that up for not only yourself, but now the family that you have. Number three, for your career or your business, whatever you're in, that has to be stable. If you're not really sure when your next paycheck is coming, now some people might live like that and it might work for them, but if it's like you just don't know and you just need to be that provider for your family, and if you don't have that stability, it's going to be even more challenging and even more stressful on your family. So I think it's good to do that. The main issue is your lifestyle inflation. When you have a child, there's so much going on, from preparing for the child, the doctor's visits, the hospital costs, afterwards, and just all of these things. There's massive lifestyle inflation that you can't avoid. Luckily, my career was able to keep up with that, so we actually did pretty well. So that's why I would recommend you need to focus on that, because it will make it a little less challenging. It's always going to be challenging, but something to aim for. Number four, your living situation needs to work for you. Everyone is different. Whether you're renting in an apartment, whether you own a house, it just has to work. If you're living in your parents' basement, having one bedroom, that's going to be adding a lot of stress. So try to plan out before everything to see how you want to raise this child, because you're going to need that more space. So kind of going back to number one, have your money in order and plan things out. It's always difficult to do that, but try, you got to do the best you can. And that's one of the reasons why we moved from a townhome, and now we're in a house. We have much more room. Number five, your extra time, at least for me, might be common, but not for everyone. Your extra time is either early mornings or late at night. For me, I get up in the morning, get my son up, breakfast, get him ready and everything. Then you have work. Then after work, you have, hang out with your family while you can. You got dinner, get ready for bed or baths and everything like that. And then after that, whatever time that may be, 7, 8 o'clock, after that is when you have time for you. That always got to me because I wanted to do as much as I can. And I felt while I was, trying to provide for my family, I also had to like be with my family. Not that that's a bad thing. You want that, but you need that balance, and it's difficult. So I learned early mornings, late nights. Weekends might be a little different, but I try to get things done during the week, and that's kind of the only thing that I was able to do. So really you need time management. It's very important because your time is much more limited now. Number 6, communication with your partner is essential. There's going to be a lot of stress, a lot of emotions, very challenging. If you don't discuss things, there's going to be a lot of resentment toward each other. And where resentment stems from is being overwhelmed. And that lands on both partners. You're doing your own thing and there's a lot on your plate, and your partner's going to feel the same exact way. And if you don't communicate that, you're kind of just going to be fighting each other and you're not listening to each other. So I think listening, even writing down, that helped me a lot as well. And even having my partner read what I wrote so they're aware of what's on my mind. It's not like in an attacking way. It's just like, this is what I'm worrying about. They might not even know half of it. So it's good for that. Same thing with budgeting. Me and my wife were able to sit down, create a budget, so we're both on the same page. We know what we're doing. We know how much we're spending. We know how much we have. We know how much we're saving. Everything like that. If that's not done, I don't really know how people would do it otherwise. Like, you're just winging it. I don't understand. So I think you need that communication now more than ever. And hopefully this blur doesn't go in and out very long, but we're trying our best here. We're just going with it. Let's see. We got number 7. You need to understand the pillars of life. I remember I was listening to a speech by Matthew McConaughey. He was giving this to a college for their graduation, and he was talking about like the pillars of life. And the pillars of life include health, relationships, work, finance, and leisure. And because you can't juggle all of those at the same time. You can't multitask and just do everything. So when you're providing, like you're focused on your work and finances, then maybe your family and relationships are kind of dwindling. So that's why every so often you got to take a step back, reevaluate your pillars. Like, hey, I haven't been putting a lot of attention there, especially your own health or your leisure or anything like that, because all of those pillars are important. You don't want any of those kind of wobbly, because if any of those are wobbly, then your whole life gets wobbly. So that's why that balance and having that constant juggling of those is difficult, but being aware of that concept, I think, can help. Number 8, understand that your kids will never be this young again. And you need to understand, you need to cherish and love every single moment. Because during that time, you might be focused, like, let's just get through this. I got to do things, there's big things you got to worry about and focus on and really prioritize. But when they grow up, it's over. And have from 5 years or younger, and they're just fun to be with. I'm a strong believer in the path of life is like when you're a kid, you learn to mature and become an adult. But from there, you have to relearn how to be a kid. And I believe having your own child helps you learn how to become a kid again, having fun again, laughing, fooling around, not always being so hard and adult-like all the time, but living. And I think if you don't appreciate that, that's going to be a mistake, and you're going to realize that later on. So you can't stop time, unfortunately, but something to be aware of, definitely. Number 9, you need to plan for your child's financial future. One obvious one is like college fund, like 529 plan type of thing. And you could always roll that over into a Roth IRA for retirement, but it's not only about like investing. I'm not saying put yourself at like a financial disadvantage or like a struggle because you're giving your kid all your money. It's also just teaching them about saving, spending, debt, delayed gratification, investing, compound interest, stuff like that, because school's not going to do that and no one else will. So you need to. And I could do a whole other video going into this because it bothers me, but the future purchasing power of your children is being attacked every single day, and they're not even aware of it yet. Just look at how everything is so expensive now. Look at housing. You know, right now the average home price is what, $400,000? What's the average price when my kid starts looking? $750,000? Good luck with that. So they need to be aware of their finances. But I think it's my responsibility, because their future is being attacked with them unknowingly. I feel like I have to do something. And it's so many things are going through my mind. I could do a whole video on it, but you need to prepare them as best as you can. They're gonna struggle a lot. You see how expensive things are now. They're not gonna come down, and it's sad, but that's, I think, something we gotta focus on too. But number 10 is you have to be a long-term planner, and being aware of any situation or any scenario that can happen. Even if the probability is like a 1% chance of happening, so most likely it's not going to happen, but if it does, you want to be the person that's like, this is what we do. When your kids or your family looks at you and they're like, could be any type of situation. I opened my eyes to this when a couple months ago we lost power. I'm like, oh crap, this is a problem. Like, so much of everything that we have these days is power. So if you don't got power, it's like, well, it's out of your control. So when in a chaotic situation and they're, frazzled and they're looking at you, I believe, at least for my perspective, you have to have that, like, I got this, I prepared, don't worry, you can trust me. And that as they grow older, I'm sure those scenarios completely grow, but you have to plan for really anything. My mindset is like, prepare for the worst but hope for the best, especially in this day and age. So that's challenging. So last but not least, we got a bonus for you guys. Something that came to my mind, and I'm still struggling with it because it's very challenging. We're all human beings, and human beings suck, is that you have to watch out for your energy. Our energy, it radiates to others around us. So if we're aggravated, the people around us are aggravated. If we're sad or overwhelmed, they're sad or overwhelmed. If we're negative, they're negative. If we're positive, they're positive. If we're, happy, they're happy. This really got to me. We were watching some older videos, and, we were with me and my son, and we were just hanging out and doing some stuff or whatever, just getting stuff together. And you could see I was like overwhelmed and aggravated, not at him or anyone really, but just because there's so much, you're overwhelmed with everything. It's so stressful, and you could see it. And the emotions at that point are completely validated, but I didn't want to be remembered or seen in that light. and it really bothered me. You know, I don't want to be seen, you know, you look at all these older videos and you're like, oh wow, Dad's always kind of, you know, stressed or agitated. I don't want to be remembered for that. So watch your energy. And it's very challenging because it affects everyone around you. So if you help your energy, it helps the people around you. It's a very psychological warfare type of thing. So hopefully those things can help you. This list could go on forever. But if you guys are looking to be that backbone or foundation for your family, that's what I'm trying to do. So like this video and other videos that I have done and will do, I hope you consider subscribing to be that foundation for your family. So that's the goal, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, and stay strong.